If you do that, Johnny, I'll come and see you. Pastor, can I get the thing? Good to see everybody here. For this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And I was glad when they say unto us, let's go to the house of the Lord. What a freedom we have today that we could come to his house and worship. What a Savior we have. I don't deserve nothing but hell. If I got what I deserve, I'd be in hell right now. I really would. Thank God that I ain't got to go because of his son. Most of all, he's not my fire escape. He saved me from me. You might not understand that, but I got hold of it, and I just thank the Lord for that. It's good to see everybody here. On the prayer list, let's continue remembering our church. The Lord will touch it. That God will still touch us and help us and lead us as he sees fits. Let's remember Tammy, Vicky. How's Miss Vicky doing, Johnny? Let's remember our church. Let's remember our pastor. The Lord touch him, encourage him, and help him. Let's remember our shut-ins and cancer patients. I like you to remember my Aunt Billy. I talked to her yesterday. She fell and broke her elbow. Let's pray for her. Do we have any more? Let's remember Brother Joe. He's sick. So if not, Brother Johnny, will you open us up, please?
Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity, and most of all, thank you that we still have the privilege and the freedom to just come and worship you, our brothers and sisters in Christ. Pray, Lord, that we always look forward to coming to worship you. Pray that we never take it for granted. Just want to lift up all these special requests that's been mentioned, Lord. Pray for the ones that's not been mentioned. You know each and every heart. You know the ones that's struggling, going through hard times. You know the ones that's carrying heavy loads, Lord. We just lift them up, put them in your hands, pray that your will be done, Lord. Pray, Lord, most of all for our lost friends and our lost family members, Lord, that you'll just open their eyes and let them see that they do need you in their lives, Lord. Pray, Lord, that take over the Sunday school iron, take over the preaching iron, just be at the teachers and preachers as they stand on the true rock and preach the true gospel, Lord. And just pray, Lord, everything's said, done, bring praise, honor, glory to your precious holy name. And we ask everything in Jesus' name.
Amen. All right. Alice, you had to go with him. You can't be in here. I understand. Me too. I don't see why you want to act like that. One thing I am proud of, I'm glad Miss Debbie brought Richard this morning to Sunday school. That's okay. That's fine. I'm glad he didn't, because I don't want him to tell Debbie. I'm grateful this morning to stand before y'all. Forgive me if it sounds broken up or anything, but what I want to teach on this morning, when God speaks. God spoke before the world even began. He spoke. He spoke to his angels. He spoke to his creation then. And then he spoke the world into existence. And he kept on speaking to man and kept on talking to him. But Job chapter 30 and verse 20 is where I want to start. Let me know when you get there. Then I want y'all to just hang on. Job chapter 30, verse 20. This is Job speaking to start off with. You know, Job went through it. You know, Job was living the life that anybody could live. He had the best of everything. God blessed him. But then the devil come along and God says, where have you been? He says, I've been walking to and fro through the earth, which I think that's a lie because he can't be everywhere at one time. But he says, have you considered my servant Job? And then that's where it began. He says you could touch everything he has, but you cannot touch his life. Well, started with his animals, his livestock. Then he went to his children, which that would be the most painful thing, to lose your children, because he had a lot of children. Then all of a sudden his health declined. He was covered head to toe in boils. If you ever had a boil, it's the most miserable thing you ever had in your life. My father-in-law would get them really bad. And they were miserable. And it'd make you miserable till they healed up. And his health declined. And then on top of it, he had so-called friends that would go to him and give their own worldly wisdom to him. To give their own opinions. Job, what have you done? Job, what did you do to cause God to be angry with you? Job, is there something that your children did? That would be the most painful thing right there, because you know you done lost your children. But right here, Job spoke up in chapter 30 and verses 20. I cry unto thee, as thou dost not hear me. I stand up, thou regardest me not. Thou art become cruel to me with thy strong hand. Thou opposest thyself against me. Thou liftest me up to the wind that causes me to ride upon it, and dissolvest my substance. For I know that thou wilt bring me to death, and to the house appointed for all living. Howbeit he will not stretch out his hand to the grave, though they cry in his destruction. Did not I weep for him that was in trouble? Was not my soul grieved for the poor? When I looked for the good, then evil came unto me. And when I waited for light, there came darkness. My bowels boiled and rested not. The days of my affliction prevented me. I went mourning without the sun. I stood up and I cried in the congregation. I am a brother to dragons and a companion to owls. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. My harp also turned to mourning, and my organ into the voice of them that weep. Job speaking out. How much more would we act like? What would we act like if God did let the devil do that to us? How much more would we say? he probably said, God has left me. God has forsaken me. And then over here, chapter 38, starting with verse 1. I love this part. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, God speaking, who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee an answer. I said, well, wait a minute, I'm sorry, forgive me. Let me start again in verse 3. Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee and answer thou me. Then God goes on to say, where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth, and declare, if thou hast understanding, who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest, or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon the foundations thereof are fastened, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. God asked Job a question. Where were you? You know, no doubt Job got discouraged. We all get discouraged. We get discouraged now over the smallest thing. Trust me, I know I do it. But when God speaks, you know, a lot of things we don't understand. Why, God? Why do I have to go through this? Why, God, do I have to go through health problems, through financial problems? Why, God, do I have to go through this? Why do I have to go through marital problems? Why do my kids act like they do? Why, God? See, God is not going to answer you right in the middle of it. He answers it through this. But most of all, he answers in the still, small voice. Have you ever had that? It says, I'm here. I'm here. Keep walking. Keep going. Gird yourself. Prepare yourself. Go. Keep walking. When I got a hold of that, I was going through something small. And God is there and says, come on, let's go. Gird yourself up. Let's move it. Let's keep walking. Because if you stop, you're stagnant and die. And the only thing you have is that trouble you see, the trouble you're going through, and that's all you'll have. You're just stuck. You're hitting a wall. You go this way, you're hitting a wall. You go this way, you're hitting a wall. Have you ever been there? I have. There are times I would cry, I said, God, please help me. I don't understand. Please help me. But it seems like the answer doesn't come right then and there, and you keep going. And like a furnace, that pilot light kicks on and the heat gets that more intense. And you ask God, please help me, help me, help me, help me. How desperate are you? Who are you seeking to help you? You asking the God of this world, or are you asking the one true God who created the universe by the speaking of His word? When God speaks, I know I've told this story here many a times, but it's my experience, only experience I have, what God gave me. You know, me and my wife, we asked for a child, and finally the day come we were going to have a child. But a few days later, the miscarriage came. We stayed in the hospital till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, then we went home. And I had to go out of town next day. Discouraged, hurt. Many people say, oh, it's a good thing it went on. You don't understand if you never had a child or going to have a child. I got home probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. Kissed and hugged my wife, told her I loved her, and I was just going to turn over without praying. And then that still small voice came. Come on, talk to me. Come on. I got beside the bed, and the only thing I could say is, Lord, have mercy on me. For the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And for the first time I understood that, what it meant. He gave it. It's God that giveth. It's Him that giveth, not us. Then the Lord blessed me a few years on down the road to have children. I have 3 precious children. I love them. They'll never know how much I love them. They're good babies. I don't care if I'm 100 and something and they just turn in whatever. They'll still be my babies. But when God speaks, God spoke this week in revival. He spoke all week long. He spoke through these men. But it's up to us to listen, to hear, and to take it to whatever, Lord, you want us to do. A stranger comes to our church, Randy. He's more than a stranger because that man talked. Bringing people here don't even know. It's up to us to open the arms and say, welcome. I don't care if a homeless man walks in the back door, go up to him and put your arm, I don't care how bad they smell, how bad they are, put your arm around them and say, sure is good to see you. Because if we don't welcome them, nobody else will. But how much more do we stink in front of God? We give Him our self-righteousness. We give Him everything but what we're supposed to. How much more do we stink in front of God? I don't care how clean we are. God is speaking now. God is telling us now. There are people out there are seeking something. As some of these missionaries could tell you, these people worship something. It don't matter if it's a stick or a rock on the ground. They worship something, wanting an answer. But that stick and rock will not answer them. We, as God's people, have something to say. We worship the one true living God. He's from everlasting to everlasting. Preacher, the scariest thing to me would be if he just didn't talk. That he would, between the Old Testament and the New Testament, when Gabriel came and pronounced that Jesus was coming, it was quiet for 400 years. God did not speak to his creation. How scary would that be if God did not speak to us? How miserable would we be if God did not speak to us? He didn't speak to Job to the latter of the book. No telling how long Job agonized and went through what he went through, and his so-called friends railed on him. But what if God did not speak no more? He told Israel one time, I can't remember what book it was, and forgive me, y'all. He says, I sent pestilence, I sent you into captivity, I sent famine, and I turned it around on you. I'll just not speak. To me, that would be the worst torture that would ever be if God did not speak. That would be hell on earth to me. That he would not speak to me. My prayer here is, I've enjoyed this week, Pastor. I really have. I didn't get everything your grandson said because he spoke a little fast, and I can hear. Still loved what I did catch. If the man would ever slow down, oh my gracious alive, we'd be here an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. God's still speaking today. Right here, Job speaks. It says, moreover, the Lord answered Job and said, shall he that contendeth with the Almighty instruct him, and he that reproveth God, let him answer it? Then Job answered the Lord and said, behold, I am vile. What shall I answer thee? I will lay my hand upon my mouth. Once I have spoken, but I will not answer thee. Yea, twice, but I will proceed no further. Then answered the Lord unto Job out of the whirlwind and said, once again, gird up thy loins, now like a man, and I will demand of thee to declare thou unto me. Told him a second time, prepare yourself. I'm about to tell you what to do. He told him to go pray for his friends. Gather those ones that persecuted him and talked about him. Gather them up and pray for them. God turned his captivity around and he had twice as much. The Bible says he got to see his great-great-grandsons before he died. And I think that is interesting. He got to see generation after generation. Excuse me. My Cocoa Pebbles are wanting to kick in. He got to see his generations. When God speaks. You remember that commercial, Brother Forrest? It's an old commercial back in the 70s. When the E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody listen. I always thought that was the dumbest commercial I ever seen. But when God speaks, listen. Don't say when I listen or if I listen. Listen what he has to say. Listen, Gospel Mission Baptist Church, what he has to say. Let him lead us. Let him love us. Will everything be easy? No, we done went through that. Not everything is going to be easy. But I believe if we forsake not the assembling of ourselves and give him the praise, he will keep us. He will do that. God gave us a man who took us and loved us, him and his missus, and loved this church and said they would love it in spite of us. That's God. That's him speaking his love through individual. When I say it's good to see you, I mean it. I'm not just saying it as a metaphor. I'm not just saying it as a courtesy thing. I'm saying it because it is good to see you. You'll never know how much you are appreciated. Y'all are my church family. Y'all are my family when my own family is not my family. Y'all love me in spite of, regardless of me. And that's the same way God loves us. In spite of us, he loved us enough to send his son to die on Calvary. In spite of us, he put our sin debt upon him. In spite of us, he took a mock trial for us. He took ridicule for us. God spoke at Calvary for sin upon his Son. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. If he did not say that, he's lying to us, and he's not a liar. We are. What he spoke is truth. He did love us enough that he went on the cross for us. He loved Job enough to bring his captivity and turn it around. He loved his people enough to turn their captivity around, but yet they still rebelled against him. Forgive me for this. What I'm about to say is silly. Frankenstein's creation, what happened? The creature rebelled against the Creator. And that's the same way we're doing today. We rebelled against our Creator. Everything he has to say, we rebelled against him. Don't need that. No, God, we're fine. Even as a Christian, we say, Everything's on easy street. I'm good to go, God. God says, all right. I'm going to let you go ahead. But when he shoos you on, you go have your fun, go have your time. You, as a creation, find yourself wanting. Where is God? How come He's not speaking to me? Not knowing yourself that you walked away. You wanted this, you got this. God's going to allow it. You'll not stay long, but He'll allow it. And then all of a sudden, we're like this. We're like, whew, God, please have mercy on me. Bring me back. For there's no place like under your wing. There's no place like being here. There's no place like being next to God. I'm not idol worshiper. Forgive me if you think I am. I love to hug my word every once in a while. It says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and God was the Word. Just it's like hugging Him. And you get to that place where you fall back in love with God and say, you're right, God, I'm wrong. Please have mercy on me. I call for the precious blood of the Lamb to cleanse me. Please help me. Sorry, my watch gave up to go, so I had to go to the heathenistic. Have you ever been to that point where you just want to hear God speak? He's not in the earthquake. He's not in the fire. Not in the whirlwind. But that still, small voice speaks. I am that I am. Are we listening today? Or are we on our own? Our pastor's getting ready to stand and preach out of Romans again. Love it. Romans is a beautiful book. The whole Bible is a beautiful book. Each chapter, each word, it has something to say to us. But if we only listen. We just got to sit still and sit down and be quiet. Just to hear what God has to say. Let's gird up as men in Christ Jesus. Let's gird ourselves up, prepare ourselves for what is to come. For whatever is to come, that we'll face it with Him, that we'll let Him lead us, and that we will ask God to help us. My biggest thing is, Lord, forgive me. Lord, forgive me of my sin and my shortcomings and my thoughts. Lord, just let me hear that sweet voice once again. As a Christian, we have the one day. We got that day coming when we will get to hear that sweet voice. And his arm around us and say, welcome. When he speaks. Pastor, will you close us out, please?